Hey everyone, Teo here. I have just received 2 new marker pads from Ohuhu and the company has just started selling them on their website. So in this video, I'm going to test and review the paper and see how they perform with alcohol markers. At the time of making this video, there are only 2 sizes and formats. So this is the spiral bound 7 by 6 inch marker pad and this is the 9 by 12 inch glue bound pad. Each pad has 60 sheets of paper. The price of the smaller spiral bound pad is US $18, not inclusive of shipping. The paper is actually acid-free, but it's not mentioned on the packaging label. And this larger 9 by 12 inch pad is US $19. The paper is made in China and imported to US, Europe, UK, and Japan. The paper is said to be made from responsible sources. So what are the differences between these marker pads versus the black cover marker pad that I reviewed a few months ago, also from the same company? Well, the paper weight for this is 150 GSM versus 200 GSM. This cover is a paperback, whereas the black cover is hardcover. And this paper is said to be double-sided bleed-proof. For the spiral bound pad, the pages are perforated. This allows you to tear the pages off easily. The paper surface is quite smooth and marker paper should be smooth. 150 GSM paper is thick, but it's not that thick. More important than the paper weight is how the paper is treated to handle alcohol inks, because I have tested thinner marker papers that actually work pretty well with alcohol markers, and even if the paper is 300 GSM but it's not treated, alcohol inks can still bleed through. So it's not just about the paper weight that determines the quality for marker paper. Let's see how well the pen works with black ink first. I'm gonna have the pen stay here for a while to see if the ink will feather. Let's wait for 5 seconds. Okay, I can see there is an ink blob here, but the ink doesn't seem to feather, so that's great. In other words, this paper works well for pen and ink drawings. 150 GSM paper is quite thick, but as you can see, this paper is not completely flat. So as I was drawing, the paper would just move up and would hit the pen. So a few stray marks, stray lines were created, not by intention, but by accident. By the way, this pen that I'm using is the Uniball Air. It's a disposable pen that can produce thin and thick lines. These are just 2 friends I was sketching with a few days ago. Maybe the curl up paper is just for the first few pages. So this is in the middle of the sketch pad and the paper seems to be quite flat. And now let's test this with alcohol ink. These are new markers that I just purchased. Can you see the black ink smudges? So the ink is not completely dry. Yeah, so before you use the marker pad to, make your art, do test out the paper and your ink and your tools first. This alcohol marker works really well on the smooth paper surface. Oops. I am not really good at using alcohol markers, as in I find it quite difficult to blend colors, not because of the paper, but because my technique is not that great. So I'm using a lot of ink here. I'm layering a few times here, just to see whether the ink will go over to the other page, go through the paper. And now we will see if alcohol ink will feather. So I'm going to put this point here. And you can see the ink will actually spread. So the ink will actually feather. So if I paint a stroke like this, I have to do it really fast if I want a thin line. If I do it slow, the ink will actually feather. And this is alcohol ink. Let's add more layers here, just to make this darker and also see whether the ink will bleed through. Let's see if I can blend this warm gray 9 with 7. Oops, too dark. Let me switch to 5. This is 5. Okay, blending seems to work well. Okay, let me just paint this dark line here. Okay, and now I'm going to blend this with 5 and see what happens. I think blending works fine. Alright, let's flip over to the other page and have a look. Wow, there is almost no bleed through on this 150 GSM paper, and this is really impressive. Alright, to conclude, this marker paper is really marker paper and it performs really well. It performs better compared to the black cover marker pad I reviewed a few months ago, which I suspect is not really using marker paper. So here you can see this is really bleed proof as the company claims. So these are marker pads I can recommend easily, and pricing seems to be quite reasonable. Now if you create line art, do make sure to test your pen and ink to make sure they work as you expect on this paper, because for this pen the ink did not dry as thoroughly as I thought it would. Alright, I hope this review is useful. See you guys in the next video. Bye!